I'm going to show you the 4 different clients that we're going to be working with while we're here. Nicole is our first client today. She's going to come with 2 boys. She's got a 4-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. I'm so used to turning around, I'm not even looking at this thing in front of me. I can see it right here now. 2 and 4, or 4 and 2, so that's going to be fun. We'll see some rowdy, I'm sure. But she sent me this room in her living room, and obviously I've just placed the frames right over what she sent me. Here in the room that she photographed, you see that I've asked her to just tape a piece of paper to the wall, which is the easiest, best first way to do this, is just have her tape a piece of paper to the wall. You take it into preview, measure it, and then you've got your exact sizing for your framings that you're going to do. And so I planned package A for her, which is the 3 10x10s. These 3 are all 10x10s, even though they look like different sizes. They're just different size moldings. So we've got a 6-inch molding in the middle and a 4-inch molding on each side. The one that we have displayed here is that's all a 4-inch molding. So that's going to look a little bit different. But I just thought for the size of the wall there, she had enough room to do one a little bigger. Another grouping that would work really well here that I would suggest would be one of the bigger frames with smaller frames underneath, because again, she's got that depth and that space for that. So that's Nicole. The reason that I chose a grouping with 3 images is because I'm planning on putting the boys together in the middle and then one of each of them on the sides. If we did one of the bigger groupings, I would have the boys together in the big image and in the middle image on the bottom, and then 2 of each of them on the sides. So we want it to all to just tell a little story. Lene is our second client, and she also has 2 small ones. I think she's got a boy and a girl. But she sent me this stairway as the place that she wanted to decorate. And so again, you know, it's throwing this stuff up there. You've got to use your imagination a little bit, because we're seeing that stairway in front of the wall. So we've got to just frame right over it. She's going to use her imagination to imagine those back on the wall and not in front of that stairway. But I want to give her the idea of seeing this finished so that she can start envisioning what that's going to look like once her kids get photographed, and she's got great images of her kids in there. So I planned package C for her, which is a 16x20 and 2 10x10s, and then I added an additional 10x10 that would be super easy to just take off, but she can see it so that it's that option that's there for her. And with that, again, I would do the 2 kids and the bigger one of each of them, and the smaller ones, and then another one of both the kids. If she chose to keep the grouping like it was, I'd probably bring the one of the 2 kids over to the top left and have the single ones and the ones that's bottom left and the one that's top right, just for symmetry there. So just want to think about the flow of things. Again, they're not even taking this canvas off the wall. That's okay. We're just going to frame right over the top of it. And once we put their kids in there, at the end of this, you know, they're going to take that art piece down, whatever it is. And I've worked with people in Chicago before that they'll sit and tell me how much is on their wall. Do you know what I paid for this? You know, they're proud of it. But once you get their kids in those images right on top of it, yeah, I can find another spot for that thing. So, you know, it's the power of being able to just show it done. And then our last client that we're going to photograph tomorrow morning, this is her playroom. She had a canvas on the wall, and so I designed this grouping based on the colors in that canvas, because I'm going to suggest to her, and I actually already have, that she either hang this grouping as it is, or she can keep the canvas where it is, hang the 3 small ones underneath, and then move the larger portrait to another part of the room. It's still all going to tie together. So we're still working within that grouping. Lisa sent me 3 images. Anytime they send me more than one, I'm going to design every space they send me. I'm just going to assume if you sent me 3 walls, you want 3 walls designed, right? So Lisa and her husband are planning to adopt soon, and so they've got the baby room ready for the baby. And so I'm going to suggest to her that she hang a picture of big brother and sister in the baby room. You know, that's a great way to bring in the new baby into the new home. Obviously, she can say no, and that's okay. We want to always make those suggestions and make that available to her. All right, so this, I was going to tell you one more thing about one of these moms. I think it's Lene. I don't remember. It might be Nicole. Anyway, one of these moms, it is Nicole because it's our first client. is pregnant, and she's like 8 months pregnant. And so you're going to get to see me work with her and kind of work through that process of, well, I'm just about to have another baby. Why would I want to hang portraits of my kids right now when there's another one coming? And I've already discussed some things with her. We'll discuss them again when she's here for the sale, I'm sure. But some of the suggestions that I'm making to her are things like, this is the last time that it's going to be just these two. All of a sudden, there's going to be another baby in the house, and this baby's going to take over. It is another boy. They're having a third boy. But we all know that when the next baby comes, the little ones kind of feel like, what about me, And there have been actual studies done that have shown how a self-esteem of a child is built when there's portraits in the home of the child and of the family. So I've talked to Nicole about that and talked to her about, this is going to be a great thing. If we go ahead and do this, you get the images of the boys on the wall. They're going to have something to be excited about and show off when the family comes in and they want to hold the baby, when friends come in and they're bringing gifts for the baby. Now this 2-year-old and this 4-year-old can say, yeah, but look at me, So I'm walking her through some of those steps along the way to kind of, move through those objections before they even happen. So she's not able to say to me, well, what about this? So any objections that you guys get that you feel like, yes?
I'm so glad that you touched on the canvases are existing on the walls, because Ernie and I were talking about that yesterday, that's the problem I face the most, is that the houses are already decorated and they have no space, or I was walking with a client around her house, and she's got these art pieces that they're I'm into art and it's all over it. I'm like, so what happens when they have no room?
Yeah, so typically I'm handling this on the phone, but if I was in the home, I would do it the exact same way. But when a mom says to me, well, we've got all windows in our house, we just have no place for, for pictures. Or they tell me, we've got stuff everywhere, we don't have any wall space. Whatever the objection is, I'm going to tell her, you know what, I love a challenge. If you'll just walk through your house, if there's even a place you consider hanging a portrait, if she's taking that picture, she's considering it.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell her, walk through your house, and any place you'd even consider hanging a portrait, I just want you to take that snapshot for me. Don't even worry about taking something off the wall. If it's something that you would consider replacing, go ahead and take that photo. So I'm going to assume that since she took this photo, she is willing to replace that canvas.
Yeah.
And I'm going to design over it. Typically, a mom who says, I don't have any space, I have all windows, she's really proud of that window light, and that's great. And so that's something that I want to talk about is, I love houses like that with lots of natural light. That's so awesome. If I love a challenge. Just walk around any place you would even consider, maybe not. And then I'll tell them, I have people that hang stuff in bathrooms and mudrooms and kitchens, and it's all good. Wherever you think there might be a spot that you would want to enjoy the kids every day.
Enjoy the kids every day. I love that.
And that is something to use. When I am talking to moms for our regular sessions, I not only want to know about their decor style and their colors and all of that, I want to know about their lifestyle too. So I'll ask them, do you like to entertain? Do you, whatever, just stuff about what they do. And if they're entertaining, it's a way to say, great, you're going to love having something to just show off what's most important to you. And a lot of times if it's a mom who's entertaining, that's going to be the mom that I'm going to ask is that mom who's got the white carpet in the room nobody goes in, and it's, it's that profile of the mom. And you already know that that's a question to ask. Do you like to entertain? Do you like to bring people in your house? She's probably the working mom. So once you tell her, this is a way to show off what's most important to you, I got to have that. I'm off working every day and busting off my kids. I need to have this to let people know this is most important to me.
You have some great lines. Those are some great lines.
Love your language.
Yeah, but the same thing with the mom who is a stay-at-home mom and, has got that home where the kids come in after school and have their cookies and jump on the couches and all that great stuff. Same thing, I'm talking to her and she says, yeah, we have this wonderful room that is a great room. I make sure the kids all sit down for dinner at least 3 nights a week. We're all here. And I'm going to tell her the same thing. I'm going to say, what a great place to be able to enjoy this family session or enjoy these moments that we've captured in this place where you sit down all together once a week and enjoy each other. It's just, like you said, using that language.
And that self-esteem thing, I'm so going to use that because that's one of the most important things to me when I'm photographing. As I told you yesterday, for me, one of the reasons I photograph children is I used to be a youth worker. And for me, it is about making that child feel important and it is amazing how excited they are when their pictures are on the walls. I mean, my kids, when new people come over, they point to their pictures on the canvases on the wall. And I'm just really gonna now focus on helping parents realize it's so important to hurry up and take that step, get them on the walls, because even like studies show, this improves their self-esteem. And what you said about the second before that baby's born, what a brilliant idea, Lori, because yes, parents are all thinking about the new baby, but that's such a great way to say, yeah, but this is about, there's all these new photos are gonna come in about the new baby. And the kids are gonna be seeing everybody cooing over the baby. Isn't this great to focus on them first? I love it, Lori. I'm so using that.
Well, and I'll give you one more circumstance as well. And I'm talking about high school seniors here, but I know there's people out there who will be planning events around their high school seniors, like we talked about yesterday. But with high school seniors, there are a lot of objections come up when it comes to wall portraits, and the objections are, well, we've got little ones, and I don't really want to make a shrine to the older one. Or I've had these two that have already graduated, and we got to do the same thing. And so I always want to turn it back to them and say, you know what, I'm going to bet your kids are all really different. And they're going to say, yeah, because they all are. And so, why don't we do something really special today for Jasmine? Let's do something that's all about her and just for her. And then one of the reasons we offer a free family session for every single person that comes through as a high school senior, we'll tell them, when we do your family session in the fall, we'll go ahead and get portraits matched up of the other kids, whether it's younger, older, whatever. So again, it's just, going from those objections that you've had even once and figuring out, how am I going to answer this the next time? How am I going to address it beforehand if possible? But always having that very positive way to communicate to them, this is the best thing to do.
Brilliant.
Yes.
All right, I have just one quick question because there are a number of people that are asking it online. And KK is one, as well as Mountain Girl. For longtime customers who have bought your wall groupings, do they keep buying year after year or just change out the prints in existing groupings, and do you allow that? Yep,
and that's a great question. And yes, when we are hanging something and somebody's come back, third year in the row, let's say, I'm always going to tell them the most lived-in area of your home is where you want the most current portraits. So let's hang something from today's session in the most lived-in area of your home. If that's going to take the place, if this is the most lived-in area, we're going to take the place of this grouping. We can either choose to take this grouping to another area of the home. We can split these images up, which is a great thing about a gallery. We can add to the gallery. So if we've got this grouping and we're going to add 3 more from this year, we could do it right in the same space if there's space. And so we'll talk about growing your gallery a lot because I want to always give them that option that they can add images in. I also will, if these frames are perfect for this space, they want to keep them there, absolutely. We'll actually take the frames from them, reframe them with the new prints, and the old prints will be back behind them to archive them. So we've done all of those options. And then Miley had a question earlier about how they get their portraits in the end. And for me, I have a studio space, and so even for the events, I want them to come pick up their portraits because then they're seeing everything else that we do. However, we also have done events on location where I've delivered everything back to one spot. I do an event in Minneapolis once a year, at least once a year, and it's about 3.5, 4 hours for me, which isn't a huge amount of distance, but it's too far for everybody to come pick up their portraits. So we take everything all at one time, or I send it with one of my clients all at one time, and then everybody goes back to the event house to pick it up. So you could do it any way. You could ship. There's lots of different ways to do it. Any frame company that you purchase from, these guys at Creative Live know how Wild Sorbet came packaged, which was with lots of packaging. And just save your boxes. We always have labels that we can stick right over the labels that they came on, or rip the labels off and stick new ones on, and just keep those packaging in the frame corners. And literally, no matter what frame company you're getting things from, they're going to come with frame corners, bubble wrap. They're going to be very well packaged so that you can just ship them if you need to. And then you're going to want to charge for shipping if that's the option that they choose. But if you're local and you're doing an event and you don't want to have them come to you, just take everything all to the host mom, and that can be part of the responsibility that she has. All right.
Could I ask a quick question? What if you're now preview? Does that work with Wild Sorbet? Like they have the
Yes.
Okay. So my question is I'm the wheels are turning in my head about working with local companies and how I can partner with people. Aaron Brothers is a local framing company here, and I'm thinking, well, what can I do to work with them? I mean, and would there be a way to show what they provide within preview? I don't know.
There are both Levin Frame Company and Handcrafted Framing are the two traditional frame companies that are in preview. Any framer can have their stuff in there. They would just need to contact them. They have to provide pictures of everything. So it's some work.
Right.
But you also can photograph and put in your favorite frames.
Okay.
And they can help you do that.
Okay.
But the ones that are there, if you get down to nuts and bolts, almost all of the major frame companies have the same moldings. And so you can show your client basically the right thing. Even with Wild Sorbet, I have to play around on the colors, and that's why we have the color sticks, because they don't look exactly the same. I've got to get it right for the client to view, and then I've got to really pick the colors, you know?
Yeah.
So it's going to be that same way with traditional framing. Choose a couple of great moldings when you first start. For me, with shooting black and white, I'd want a really great black molding in a couple different widths, and maybe like a brown tone, more of a sepia tone. And just make your selection easy, especially for events. You want to make it very easy for the client to buy. So don't show them 152 moldings, you know? Even if you bring them into preview, know what your favorites are so that you can quickly pull them, and have them pre-pulled so that you can make suggestions based on the images as well as their decor.
So you can put the images into the picture on preview.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what I was wondering. So we can show them that with their photo on their wall.
Yep.
In the frame that we chose.
Exactly. So, and if we're ready, we're actually going to do that next. You ready for that?
Could I ask just a quick question about seniors? You just mentioned with seniors, then you offer family sessions as well. Is that a freebie that you
I
tack
do.
on to
All of our
seniors?
high school seniors, they get a free family session with every senior session. And I do that. I started doing that literally because of the objections that we would get, and I knew that I needed to figure out how to match up. So they've concentrated on this senior, and so we do it all the time. What has happened now as a result of that is those are some of our highest averages in our business because they've already been through the process.
Okay.
You know, so they're great clients. I love high school seniors more and more all the time. So it's lots of fun. All right, so this is preview. And we're gonna go here. I've built our clients that we've got coming in. We just synced this, so hopefully it'll all happen. Lisa is the one with the 3 different groupings, so I'm just gonna work with her since we've got a couple things to work with. So we're gonna click on this session that she's got. The collections that I just went into, that's where you're going to list your sessions for your client. So you might have more than one collection if you've got more than one session. If they come in for a family session, then a child session, then a birthday session. So you're going to just name them. So I would name them with their last name, and then B-Day for birthday session, RK for real kids. And then I always put the year on it. Typically, they're not going to do the same type of session in a year. During the first year, it's going to say NB for newborn, 2012. 4-month, 2012, 8-month, 2012. So it's all there so we can get right to their images. This little light bulb is the light tray. So we're going to go out to that. And that's going to bring in, I have no images for this client yet because we haven't photographed her yet. If we did, we would see all of our images here, and you'll see me put those in this afternoon. We can build projects here for the client, which is just putting different frame groupings together. And then we can load in her home view. And I'm going to go back out and actually load, I can't, this isn't my computer. I was gonna say, I'm gonna load a home view for you, but I think I might be able to show you anyway. Let's see, where'd she go? Okay, in home views, when I click on one of these images, it's gonna take me into this room. I can label the room, I've labeled this playroom, and it's gonna give me this ruler to work with. I had already put it on this piece of paper because that's what normally when I open this up the first time, it's going to be a horizontal ruler, and it's probably gonna be a little bigger. The bigger you can get them to measure, the better. What I found is that by telling them it's a piece of paper, it makes it something that everybody has laying around, so it makes it easy and they don't have to get out a measuring tape. They would rather find a piece of paper and a piece of tape than a measuring tape. So that's where that came from. Now we have this tool that they can just peel and stick, but it always, if you can get them to measure something bigger, it's better. The peel and stick just makes it easy for them. So I'm gonna put it here, and then I know this paper is 11 inches, so I'm gonna go over here and type in my 11 inches. And then it's actually gonna size this room for me. So it knows exactly how big this area is. So I'm gonna click save. And now, when we go out into the light tray, I can click on this room. This is the one we had. And I'm here now in the kids' room. And I've already built this, but if I hadn't built it yet, I could go into these projects and just pull this framing on the wall. I sized this frame to 8 by 12, which you can see over here. And so now when it comes onto this wall, this is exactly what an 8 by 12 4-inch molding is going to look like. That may even be a 6-inch molding, I'm not sure. But I'm going to delete that. With this grouping that we chose, this is a 16 by 24 and 3 8 by 8s. Now if Lisa gets here and she says, oh, I really love that, but I hate those dots on that frame. Take those dots off. No problem. We just click on it. It's going to take us into the project builder, and I'm going to go into my frame collection, and here's where my shabby dots are, and I'm just going to get rid of them. So no trouble. She says, yeah, I like that molding. I wanted a different color. I can just pull up all these colors. And typically for me, this comes up in kind of by colors. I would rather see it alphabetically because I can find them more quickly. More quickly, is that a word? Is that a correct grammar? But alphabetically here, if you hold your mouse over them, you can get all the colors. So she wants this to be bronze. So there it is. Again, I like having the color sticks there, or even the catalog. Before you get color sticks, even the catalog, you can find certain colors. So if she flips through here and says, I gotta have this grouping, I can look over here and it's gonna tell me exactly what colors are on this molding. So I can go in here alphabetically and find the colors, and it makes it very easy to customize an option for her. For real kids, I take in 3 color kind of packets, and there's brights, there's pastels, and there's neutrals. And typically I can plug somebody in there and they can actually see the actual colors. So the discount that Wild Survey has right now, is that okay for me to mention? Oh, absolutely. They have actually put together each one of these packages, and if you want to buy the Real Kids, one of the packages, and I don't make any money off of this, you guys. This is not me trying to be a salesperson, but just what I use if you want to jump into this. But you can get the package along with the 2 tabletop frames that come with the package and your choice in the stick collections, the color collections. And she's got a great discount on those if you want to get something so that you have something to show right away. So, and then what this is doing here on the bottom is it's showing me everything that I've just built. So I've got formal bronze on the background. I chose to delete my pattern, my dots. I've got rosy cheeks on the trim. Let's say we want to change our trim. We just go over here and I like this one better. So I'm just going to pull that over and choose my color again. So it makes it really easy to just, custom design. When I click on this again, I'm just going to do Save Project. And then I'm going to save for the wall. And now see how it changed it there? And I've got the new color. So it makes it really easy. If I want to start this from scratch, these I actually have built here. I've got the Real Kids packages A, B, C, D. So let's just take these off this wall and get rid of this frame grouping. I've got the option of just pulling in a new package. This is package C. And I've got to go get my studio room client wall, rooms client. And now I can pull in her wall and move these around on the new wall. If she says, I love that grouping, but I don't like it in that room, I'll pull in a different room. So we can, do it that way. That make sense? So it makes it really easy to play with there. If I don't want to choose one of those templates, you can also start from scratch. You can make your own templates. You can, and by templates I mean the packages that I've created, or you can come in and you can start just by building a custom project. So we can go out, let's just go to projects. I'm going to click here on Wild Sorbet. So we can come in. Normally I would have all my image sorted in here. We won't have those until after we photograph the client. But I can still build a project for her. I can choose a striped frame, a regular plain shabby chic frame, or the dots frame. I can choose the Parisian, a gallery wrap frame, which is kind of sits out on the wall, box frame, multiple image frame, textured frame, all that's built in right in here for you. What it also does, let's say we're going to build a stripe frame. Let's say striped, 10 by 10, and this is going to give me a 6-inch molding automatically in this builder with the stripes. So we'll choose our molding color, we'll choose our stripe color. You can choose a pinstripe color, and then your trim. So we'll throw a trim on there, a trim color. Oops, I'll go white. So now we've got that, well, that's not a good trim. Let's go back with that dark blue. And this is, the trim says talkative turquoise, nautical, sailboat blue. Okay, so this is what I was telling you guys about. The colors are not perfect. This is actually the same color as this. It doesn't look exactly the same. So you have to kind of walk that through with your client, that I'll make sure that this is going to, bring me that pillowcase and I'm going to match it, and it helps with the thing. But we can now say save project. And then when we go back into this home view, this is going to be in our project. So we can now pull this onto a blank wall. We can pull it onto the client wall and place it. That piece of paper's there, so it's going to be the exact right size. Or we can go, before you ever do an event, if you want to start showing room groupings, there's a Rooms Global here that just has rooms for you. Has got solid color walls, and you can customize it and make it any color you want. Or you can go in here and you can pull a room. Do this, hang your grouping, and you can go back into here in projects and pull in another frame. You can move them around, you can size them. Once we get images in here this afternoon, you'll see that we can pull our images in. We can actually just click and expand the image so that they can see what it's going to look like cropped. There's all kinds of options that you can do in here very quickly to actually play interior designer with your client. This is such a different experience for them that they can't compare the dollars at all. They're not going to say, well, XYZ photographer only charges this much. This is a completely different experience. So someone was saying to me yesterday, I won't look at you or say your name, but still with the idea that in my town, this isn't going to work. And I can't look over there because I don't want to look at the person. But, there is somebody in my town that says the same thing, you guys. It's Winterset, Iowa, 5,500 people in the middle of cornfields. And there is someone in Winterset, Iowa saying, I can never sell what she sells. I do not take better pictures than anybody else. It's all about this entire experience and putting this whole plan and system into place, following through, planning with the client every step of the way that gets them to that final buying decision. And it's not ever, I'm pulling it out of them. I mean, they're excited by the time they sit down. I've sent them, I wouldn't send them this view. We're not going to say that. But if I'm talking to mom, we're talking about this, she's already seen this, I've already discussed with her, and it's not even just sending over this picture, hey, here's what I put together for you. It's what a wonderful place to have a portrait of the kids that are waiting for this new baby to come and fill this crib. It's a whole different thing when we're talking about really what it's all about. And really what it's all about is not just the session, not just the images, the pictures. It's all about creating those memories, not just through the images, but through the experience that we give them, the whole entire experience from start to finish. All right, any questions there?
We did have a quick question a little bit ago about this particular set of frames above the baby's crib. Do they have glass in them?
They do not have glass
Yeah,
in
that's
them.
what I was just thinking. I was just thinking that. I'm like, earthquake friendly? I don't know.
Yeah, and they don't have glass in them. None of these have glass in them. Typically, most people don't glass their art. And so if you communicate it in that way, then it makes sense. And we're texturing everything. Everything's got a luster coating on it, so it's all very protected. We tell people just to feather dust their portraits and their frames. That way nothing's ever getting sprayed on them. Or the only time that it ever becomes an issue is if somebody's putting something in their bathroom. And at that point, we might offer plexiglass. And I also work with a local framer. He does a lot for me. And even sometimes when we get in some of our bigger frames, I'll take them over to Tom because it's just easier for us to not have to manually do a lot of the bigger pieces. We just had somebody who did a storyboard, and inside it was 3 images framed, a high school senior boy, and the storyboard, and he had 11 by 16, 3 images. And so by the time you frame 3 of those together, this was a big piece. And it wasn't something that my in-house framer felt comfortable handling. And, so she just took it over to Tom, and it's great to have somebody local like that you can have, and especially when we've got glass involved. But we will glass stuff for people. I don't ever get glass from my framers. We just get it from our local framer who's right around the corner. So he loves us and we love him. Trying to think if there was anything just in here that I wanted to show you guys, but probably not until we get images in. So we'll go back to the keynote here.
We do have some more questions, if that's all right.
Okay, wonderful.
So we have about 20 minutes till break.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Carolyn Stir wants to know, do moms and you ever get overwhelmed by the amount of choices Wild Survey offer? Do you pre-select color choices ahead of time?
I do, and that's one of the benefits of having the room view, is because when Mom sends me this room, let's put this one in. This was one that I pre-designed last night in the middle of the night. But she sent me this room. She's obviously got blues, she's got browns, and so I'm going to go ahead and select that colors. She can definitely tell me, you know what, I want to bring in a little olive green in there. And I can just click on it again and take, whoops, maybe. Sticking. I'm normally working with a pen tablet. Okay, but I can click on that, come back in here, go to my frame collections, molding color, and I'll select it for her. I'm not going to let her sit and go through, So I'm going to say, great, you want an olive green? You can see it. So I'll put that there. Do you like that? Yes. Let's just save it. And when we go back, it's changed for her, and she can see it done. So usually when I'm in here, I'm not on my computer, so I'm not going to do it. I'll show you how it's done. I go ahead and just, first of all, you can save your home view. So we can do this. And now she can actually, we'll have it over here. But I also want to just take a snapshot of it, and I'll save it as olive green option. And then we've got that to pull up, and we can compare the two. That's also the way, you've got it right here. You can save it however you want. That's what we'll email to the client. And so I typically do not email them this view without images in it until I've talked to them. So I'm going to tell them I'm going to get excited about it first. I'm going to say, I put something together for you. I'm super excited for you to see it. What I see here is the kids both in the middle frame and one of each of them on the sides. And I'm super excited to photograph for that. I want to walk them through that process because I want them to believe that this, and it is, but I want them to know that this whole process is a process. The reason that I'm photographing or having them photograph the walls, I'm putting the framing on the walls, I'm talking about it, walking them through it, is because I'm going to shoot for what we're going to be ending up with. I'm going to shoot for the final product. And so we're walking through all those things. I almost always even know if they're going to buy a book. And so that's something that we've communicated. I love the books. I saw such and such's, or I'm telling them what we have to offer. I tell them about the image boxes. With the image box, you've got 10 images in it. With these, one of the things I love about the ACI box is it is actually a box. It's wooden. A lot of the other places that you get image boxes from, in fact, I don't know of any other that does a wooden box. Most of them are cardboard. And so over time, they start wearing down and These, you could actually, I mean, if it got put on your kid's floor at home and they stood on it, it's not going to dent in. It's true. So in the image boxes, they get 10 mounted prints. So this is a good way for you to see, what a mounted textured print looks like with the luster coating on it. So they're all very protected. They feel good. They know when they see these with texture and coating that, it's a good solid print. So we tell them if they buy an image box, what most people do is they get a little easel to go along with it. You can put the prints out on an easel. You can put one out on an easel. You can switch them out when you want to. Or you can use them as gifts. So they've got a lot of different versatility with that. We do have people that end up with image boxes that do give them all away or use them in different areas of the house, and they use them for just little trinket boxes on the kids' counters. So we'll give them that idea as well. That's a really great thing for newborns to do at one of the bigger image boxes, and this is actually a flatter one, but we do a lot of the 10 by 10 and it's thicker image boxes that they can keep all of their birth certificate and their first little hair and the hospital bracelets, all those things that are special. They can throw them all in that image box on top of the counter or the dresser, and it makes it a really nice little keepsake.
What a great idea. Multi-purpose. We have a question in the audience.
Yeah, I was curious about the software. How many licenses it comes with when you buy the software? Can I have and how many?
It is
computers?
one license, but you can use it on all the computers in your studio. So anywhere, if we're working on something downstairs in our retouching area where Stacy works, she's going to do all her thing. She's going to load the finished images into Preview. She's going to sync it, and then it's going to be upstairs in the order room. So all of your computers are all going to talk to each other. We even, in my studio, I have PC and Mac. Our office computer and our order room computer are PC. Everything else is Mac. It all talks. So that makes it really great too. I don't know, a lot of the other programs that are able to do that. So we've got the client management, the scheduling, and the room views, the sales, all in one spot.
That's all in Preview.
Oh, yeah, all in Preview.
Sorry. You want to go? Does Preview have the slideshows and when you're going through choosing images? Or is it just for the previews for the walls? Or does it have the
Viewing capabilities.
The viewing capabilities,
Yes.
thank you.
Yep.
Sorry,
So,
we're
you'll
talking
see-
about this right now, so I was just wondering, it also does, right?
Yes, you will see that after we photograph our session.
Okay.
I'm going to download the images right away, and we'll show them right in Preview.
Oh,
so
perfect. Okay.
you can click and do a slideshow, which we'll probably do because we've extended these sessions just a little bit longer so we can talk a little bit more through them. Okay. Typically with the events, I don't actually show a slideshow. I just tell them we're going to flip through the first time so that you can see everything. The reason is because I'm clicking no if I don't want them to see it again.
Yeah.
So we're going to flip through them real quick so that you can see everything, and then we'll go through each image one by one.
Okay.
And even as we go through, you'll see this afternoon that we're going to go through, and I'm going to make suggestions. And it's never going to be, oh, I don't like that one, or that one's not as good. But I'm going to say, oh, I love her smile in this one. Okay. So that it's making the job easier for mom if I have anything similar. Mm-hmm. And we all know, as we sit at our computers, and you're going, oh, but she'll like this one and this. I mean, and her head's barely turned, or she's, just barely a different smile. And you don't, oh, what's mom going to like better? Well, if we're doing that, what is she going to do? We are ruining the order experience for her because all of a sudden now it's hard work. Mm-hmm. So make all those decisions before your client sees them. That's why with these events, you have to be a little bit more careful with your shooting. You got to edit in camera, which is okay because mom's not watching over your back. But one of the things I also do, and I didn't even bring it here, but one of the things that I do in events a lot of times, I have a Canon grip that is an electronic transfer to my iPad, and I'll even hand the mom the iPad while I'm shooting. And nothing is gone for real, but I'll tell her, you can start editing now. And so she's got like a job to do during the session and can just sit there, and she's going to see them all as soon as I shoot them anyway. But that kind of gives her a little bit of that power to go, oh yeah, she blinked her eyes. Oh yeah, I love this. And she's already kind of starting to formulate ideas before we sit down. It's whatever, I think Nikon has one too, but it's through Canon, and it's just a Canon.
It's a wireless
that's
transfer?
a wireless transfer.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love it. It's great with this high school seniors too. It kind of gives mom something to do.
Does it have battery power, like to the camera? Like, does it provide?
It fits on just like your camera grip.
Right.
but it's got one battery in there, and then you actually have one still in your camera.
So you're providing extra power to your camera as well?
Yes,
is what I'm
yeah,
asking.
just like a grip.
Do you, she sends in her picture for you, do you then show her the pictures like you have here on the screen and she picks colors, or do you wait until you've had the session with the kids and then reveal everything
I
to her?
actually choose the colors for her.
Okay.
So just like I did here, which I wouldn't choose this olive green. Mom told me she wanted this, so I changed it.
But she hasn't seen any of this, and you just wait until
She
you plot
does.
the pictures in.
Nope, she does. I'm gonna design something for her, and then I'm gonna send it over to her. And I like to do that before the consultation even happens, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell her I'm gonna suggest clothing, I'm gonna suggest props, and anything else based on your decor style. And so in her mind, it's so important to get me those pictures, because I can't even suggest what the session is going to look like until I have those pictures. And so then when I do the consultation call, I'm going to suggest clothing, I'm going to talk to her more about her kids and all those things, ask lots of questions, and then I'm going to tell her, I've gone ahead and designed something for you. I'm going to send it over to you so that you can see what it's going to look like. What I'm envisioning is having both of the kids in the middle of the image that I'm going to send you, and each of the kids on the sides. And I'll write that in the email again when I send it. Here's what I love about this. We can feature both of the kids individually and together, blah, blah, blah. And I'll ask too, even then, how do you feel about the colors that I've chosen? And then she can come back to me and say, well, we're about to paint the room and I would like it to be green, or I'm adding green pillows on the chairs. We've got that opportunity. It can be done, and you'll see it today because I'm telling them to just throw me curveballs, that the girls that are coming in. But typically, it's handled before we sit down. We've already talked about a lot of these things, so we don't change a lot of stuff right in front of them. But it's, I've shown you how easy it is. Once you have the base of it built, and even if you didn't, I'll just go out of this. Let's go save and blank. So that's done. Let's say we had a mom who did not get me her walls, which would not make me happy. But we're gonna come in here and we're gonna say, what color are your walls? Well, let's just pull up this color palette, and we'll say they're, what do you want? Gray? Let's do gray. So I can choose a custom color wall. You can also in here, if you actually know, you can type in the Adobe letters for it, the color letters. Are they Adobe? I just made that up.
Working RGB.
So there is their wall. And now I can go in here and choose which package they've decided on. So let's say they've chosen package D. I can just pull that on the wall. Well, she says that those are absolutely not the right colors for me. No problem. Let's just take this into the project builder, and we will go and change that color. What color would you like? You like pink? Okay. Let's choose a pink. Let's just choose one till we like it. And it's that quick. So it's, the decisions are all planned. So the more you prepare your client, the easier it is for them to sit down with you and say, I can't believe you did that. That looks great. And for a long, long time, we've been making suggestions in the studio with our clients. But this is so much more personalized and customized, and it's easy. It's easy and it's fun, and they really feel like they have all this additional service being given to them, and it's simple. Anybody can do this, and that's why I've even had some host moms, that have said, I want to do this. Well, they can learn to do this part of preview in 5 minutes, and so I'll have it all set up for them. I'll build the client. I'll build the client collection, which is the session that they're doing. All they have to do is go in and click on that session, bring them in, whether they have a room view or not. They can come in, they can pull their images in, or I can have something already built. If they want the color changed, mom can click on it, change the colors very easily. So it makes it very, very easy. When you have a system in place, bringing in that team member, bringing in that salesperson is so simple, because all you're doing is saying, here's how it goes. Okay. So,
Okay, we actually have
real question.
a couple of clarification questions.
Okay.
So, SL Hunter and Murdoch are a little confused about the prints without glass. I guess they want to know about the treatment that's on them, essentially. And then also, same kind of question. C. Brock Photo wants to know about the texture. So.
Okay, great. That's a good question. When I order from ACI Color Lab, but I'm pretty sure that most of the professional print labs have texture, mounting, and coating options. And so with ACI, I order a mounted print. If it's 8x10 and smaller, I'm typically ordering just matte board. However, bigger than that, I'm ordering styrene, and that's what I do the image box images on. They're a little bit more expensive, not a lot, but the styrene's a little bit more expensive, but they're also, I can't bend this. With the regular mounting, the matte board mounting, you could bend that in half. Not that it's going to happen every day, but this is just a little bit more, if it gets dropped on a corner or something, it's not quite so easily damaged. If it's just going to be framed, matte board is fine. Just stick it in there and frame it. I am going to take one of these off the wall because I'm going to see how Tana, typically we're backing these, and I'm going to bet she backed them for me. She did. So what this is, if this is a matte board print, then it can go in here. It's protected with another piece of cardboard, or we just get black foam core is what we get. Put it in there, put it in with your staple gun, framing gun, and then back it. And you can back it with black paper, craft paper, wrapping paper. It can be anything. You can even make them stylized to your studio colors, do something special on there. You could put a print of authenticity certificate on the back of the frame if you like. We do put this frame, custom framed by Lori Nordstrom Studio. I like to have that on there because we do tell our clients that anything that's framed by us is guaranteed, and they like that. That's another level of service that we can offer them. So, but then the regular prints, even these inside, these are mounted on matte board. Those are styrene, but they're all linen texture is the one that I use. That's the one I like. They have a canvas texture, a linen texture, and something else. I like the linen texture, and then they're luster coated. So anytime you have something that's going to be out in an image box or unframed on the wall, you want to do that final protection of the luster coating. And it's not very expensive, but you just work all that into your pricing.
Lori, while you're there, somebody had asked earlier about whether using Preview was just for wall hanging frames or ones that might be standing up as well, so like the ones behind you there.
Typically, we're not going to show them the desktop frames in Preview, but these all are just very easy to grab one or two to take along with you, and they're cute sitting out. They come in all the different colors. You can do lots of different options. The thing with the tabletop frames with Wild Sorbet is you have to order a certain number of them, and that's why they work great for the events, is because you're going to be ordering more than one. Otherwise, for your regular studio sessions, they're not as practical because you're having to stock them. So I think you have to order maybe 20 at a time, or actually it's not a number, it's a 200 at a time maybe, $200. Not frames. But I could be wrong about that. Maybe if Tana is listening or somebody that knows Tana could tell her to type that in the chat room, I'm not sure. But for the events, what Tana has done is when you order a package, when you order a wall grouping, you can order 2 framed pieces with it. So she's done that for these events so that you don't have to order so many at one time. If that makes sense. But you could go in here and just pick a 5x7 frame, and we probably wouldn't want the Parisian, so let's just do a shabby one. So let's go shabby, and let's say those are 4-inch moldings. So you could still show them what their 5x7 print is going to look like in here. You could still decorate it, we'll give it the dots like that one. Let's say we want shabby dots of, I don't know, a different shade of green. Sure. So, and then throw that print in there. So you can show them the actual finished piece, what it's going to look like, even if you're not showing it on a desktop. Does that make sense? So let's just go ahead and save this as a project. And we'll go out. Oopsie. I don't know what that is. We can go into our home view, and Then we'll go to our projects, and we'll pull that 5x7 out and just set it on the desk. There you go.
May I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
So for me, I don't shoot all black and white. I shoot all different. I do all different kinds of treatments.
Yep.
So for me, I guess it would be more difficult to choose frames ahead of time because I won't know exactly what the colors of the things will be. So, and also, so I can just do this in the viewing once I've got my favorite photos after, and then maybe put some into the albums. Would that work better when you're dealing with color prints? Like the black and whites, I find it's easier because you know it's going to be black and white. It'll go with anything.
Well,
what do I do about that?
You're going to base your molding color on the room.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
And so, and that as well. I mean, it makes even more sense for you as a
then I know
color
to shoot
shooter.
it that way.
If you're shooting in this room, you're going to say, "I would love to see some earth tone texture. Some, get a sweater that's got that beigey cream in it, and you can
perfect,
base
yeah.
it right around the room and make those suggestions."
And then shoot for that room.
Shoot for that room.
Shoot for that room.
And I'm going to tell you, for regular sessions in the studio, that's when we're changing clothes and they're doing multiple things. I will tell them which outfit they are being photographed in for which room. So if they're changing, we're going to say, I'm going to even call it, this is a living room outfit. This is her bedroom outfit. Because I really want them to be that solidified in their mind that this is why we're changing clothes and this is why we're changing background or location.
And you've so pre-sold the whole situation. There's no,
It's done.
when they get into that living room, it's not like, what am I
done.
buying? They've already bought it because they dressed for it.
Yep, exactly.
That's
exactly.
brilliant, Lori. Brilliant.
So I'm going to take this back out to the project builder so you can see traditional framing here. And, Janice, I would suggest, even if you don't want to do, multiple colored frames or you don't want to, I would suggest choosing your moldings based on your shooting style and the decor. So you're only offering them, if you take in a basket, take in 6 moldings.
Because I'm not, it's funny because I'm a kind of vibrant personality, but I'm not vibrant frames. Like that's not my taste naturally.
Sure.
I'm a little bit more classic for those. So I guess I get a little overwhelmed by all the choices.
Well, and that too, it says easel back, let's see. Excuse me, I don't think I picked my size. I may not be able to build this without an image. So we won't do that right now. But all the handcrafted framing is in here as well, and the Levin framing. You've also got your Katori jewelry in here. And so you can go through here and you can say, I'm gonna build this keychain. And you can show them exactly like the cropping on the keychain. Here are the brass cufflinks. So you can just pull those images in and show them right away what it's going to look like. Cool. So that's nice too. You got those specialty product lines built in that they can actually kind of envision what it's going to look like finished. This, not bright colors. This is from the neutral line, and you may only want to offer that.
But I mean, the kids' rooms is fabulous to go color for those. I mean, I'm not saying like all of those. I love all of them for kids' rooms. They are fabulous. But that's a very helpful concept to think before I shoot, like to have that more in my head. I've never approached it that way. Because I'm kind of a spontaneous person. Any form of planning is out of my normal realm. So it totally
changes the bottom line, and that's what makes the difference.
Yeah,
it makes it worth it.
Thank you very much, Lori.
All right, we have time for a couple more questions, if that's all right. One from Michael P. is, how do you counter the argument from moms that say, oh, I'll just get it framed myself, don't worry about it?
Well, what we do is we tell them that we're going to custom design this for them, so that we're going to take away the need to go and get it done themselves. So I always want it to make it look like it's a benefit for them, which it is. And I think part of that is just the hand holding and telling them, using that line again, what we specialize in is this. And so when it all comes back down to, I'm the specialist, it's really hard for them to go, they chose you for a reason. So, and if you're telling them what that reason is, it's hard for them to argue with that.
So I think it's funny because I did this myself, but we always kind of make up all of these objections that every single person is going to have, like as if every single person is going to want to frame them themselves.
Right.
And that's just not the case.
Right.
And so I think
Well,
that's
and
really important.
it's very
to keep.
normal. I hear things a lot of times from photographers that I'm working with that'll say, you know, I mean, this just happened, and so this is the crisis of my life. And, you know, you don't change your business based on one person. You run your business like you do business. Yes, there's going to be a hiccup here and there, but you have to do business based on you, on your business and what's best for your business, for your family. And then that person that comes along, you make adjustments, and everything's a case-by-case basis. It really is. But when you know your structure and have that system down, you always have that to go back to. That's really the underlying theme here, is that that's the basis. Doesn't mean that it's always going to be that way 100% of the time, but we're going to know our answers 100% of the time because we've got a system in place.
Because you know your niche.
There we go. We know what we specialize in, right? Anything else, you guys?
Okay. Jen H would like to know, says, you said you narrowed down in camera for real kids. What is the process for narrowing down images in studio? That a couple people have asked.
Okay, yeah. I will edit down as I'm shooting if I know something, if I just don't want to see it again. But typically not nearly as much. I try to get it narrowed down in real kids because we're showing them the images immediately following. So I'm not going to have that process of going through Lightroom saying yes, no, yes, no.
Cool. I have a question that for people who might just be joining us again, can you tell us why you call your system Real Kids again?
Because of the real life aspect. And do you guys want to hear a story?
Sure.
My stories. I actually started this whole thing as Simply Kids, and it may be somebody who knows that asked this question. And one of my key words
It was actually me. Just
Oh, all right. One of my key words is simple, and that's when describing that personality. That's one of my 5 words is simple. And everything that we do in the studio, I always try to make it as simple as possible for us, for life, for the client. And so Simply Kids just made sense. And in fact, yesterday we were talking about building that product line for Marathon Press, and that was my product line, was called Simple whatever it was, the Simple Collection. And so Simply Kids made sense. We started that. I started the whole copyright process and branding, trademarking, all that process, and was working alongside with the trademark attorney. And in the middle of it all, everything fell through the cracks, and I got sued. So once the trademark process is started, you are legally able to use that trademark symbol. And so I just followed along with the attorney. I was doing everything I thought I was supposed to be doing and started using it, and it was out there. I was speaking and teaching, and the Simply Kids brand was out there. And there was a photography studio called Simply Kids, and she sued me. And so now it's Real Kids. So that's the story. But in the end, it's, it's one of those things that, I could have fought it. My attorney in the beginning wanted me to fight it, and I was like, this industry is my life. It's not worth it to me over a name. People aren't coming because of the name.
I like Real Kids better anyway.
There we go.
That's why be positive and move with the changes.
Well, and our senior product line is called Real Seniors. And real life has been my tagline from day one when I started in 1995. And so it all made sense, and it really does, just flow with what I do. So it all worked, but that's why. Do you wish you wouldn't have asked?
No, not at all. I think that's a good, there's some learning in that
It is.
story.
I mean, it's great it was a good learning experience, and I'm thankful that I went through the process, and wasn't worth it to me to fight back. Just not who I am.
Great lesson. Oh.
So you were saying that you edit in your camera. So how many images typically do you take per session?
In the event sessions and the Real Kids
Either one.
sessions, I probably shoot 50, 60 images.
Okay.
And then I want to, in camera, get them down to showing 30 to 40, which is still a lot. That's a lot of images to show. However, I want them to at least have 10 left in their yeses that we can put into a book. Because I want them to add on a book. And lots of people do. And the reason is because, we've designed this grouping for them. They've got 3 or 4 images in a grouping, 2 tabletop images. How do I have the rest? you know, so we want to do these albums. So, and you guys, you know, you can look through these. They all have way more than 10 images in them, but 10 is the minimum if we did one per page. So I'm still showing a lot. With regular sessions, high school seniors, I try not to show more than 80, but I've shown 120, and it just, you know, it all works out. We do albums for all of our high school seniors as well.
Included?
What's that?
Included?
They are included in our top package. We have our top senior package is $2,500, and it includes an album. But everything else, we do a build-a-collection, which I'm going to show you a real kids build-a-collection product menu tomorrow, which is going to confuse everybody. But it's the build-a-collection system works so well that for people who are wanting to change their pricing, it's the best way to start and really walk clients through that process of doing something different. So I'm going to show you guys how all that works tomorrow. But the build your own is what we do with our high school seniors, and the album is the fourth step of building your own collection. So everybody does it because we're just telling them this is step 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they do it.